What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is the continuation of Mixed Six Pack Theme Month here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Lagunitas Brewing Company, and they're out of both Petaluma, California and Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Super Cluster. So on the label they're calling this a Citra-Hopped Mega Ale, which is basically just a double IPA brewed with 100% Citra hops, comes in at 8% alcohol by volume, 60 IBUs at the time of review. This can is approximately 2.5 months old. So not the most ideal freshness at 2.5 months old, as I always say on my channel. I prefer to drink my hop forward beers for the first time ever 6 weeks old or fresher. But I also mentioned during this Mixed Six Pack Theme Month that sometimes your options are limited when you're grabbing a mixed sixer, you know, for convenience. You're just like, hey, I want to grab that. You grab it off the shelf, a couple months old, whatever. We'll throw it into the six pack because it's under $2. Like, what are you going to do? So, you know, 2.5 months old, I would have liked to try this a bit fresher, but whatever. I've seen a lot of fellow beer tubers review this one. I've seen a lot of my Untappd friends drink this one, and they all seem to enjoy it. So I've been wanting to try this one out since late last year, and here we are. So yeah, double IPA, brewed with Citra. They have a little bit of a spiel on the side here. It just says that this is a pale, cold, alcoholic, and bitter. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, crack it open, get it into a glass, see what we got going on here. I wanted to review a Lagunitas beer during the Mixed Six Pack Theme Month because I feel they have the best bang for buck period when it comes to craft beer, and yeah, I wanted to, and this was the one that kind of caught my eye, so here we are. So that pours out like an old school West Coast style double IPA or IPA. Has this really nice like golden orange color, pretty filtered, some chill haze here, about a finger, maybe a half a finger of a white head, somewhat creamy looking. It plays the role of a double IPA, I would say. Let's get a nose. Now, see, I do this a lot. Like when I'm holding it up here, I'm like, oh, it's like a, you know, it's a white head. I go over here, it's like a light tan or like cream colored head, actually, not straight on white. Anyway, let's get a nose. Yeah, you know what? That smells like an old school West Coast double IPA. There's a pretty big resinous pine characteristic on the nose. Yeah, I was not expecting that. You know, something that's 100% Citra, which is great because you can see how hops can change the character depending on where they're used in the boil or if it's dry hop and so on and so forth. And I'll tell you right now that this smells like an old school West Coast style double IPA. 2.5 months, I'm getting a little bit of the malt character, a little bit of like caramel, bready, you know, biscuity type of character. But yeah, resinous pine, there's some nice citrus, like an orange zest. A little bit of like a mango sweetness as well. That resinous pine is mixing in with a pretty big dankness, almost like a weed character, which Lagunitas is known for as well. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of surprised. 2.5 months old, this has a big resinous pine dank character. It's still bold, it's still in my face. The subtle citrus characters are there, a nice bready, almost caramel malt base. Yeah, a little bit of tropical and stone fruit mango, a little bit of like pineapple sweetness. It smells really good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Nice, it's a bit sweeter on the palate, a little bit more fruit forward. Yeah, I'm really, wow. The nose kind of did not a complete 180, but close. I'm going back in. First things first, this is like higher side of medium body, 8%. Has a little bit of oomph behind it. I wouldn't say necessarily like syrupy, but man, it's kind of like slick on the palate. Really crazy at 8%. The mouthfeel, it's not as carbonated as like an old West Coast style double IPA would be. There's carbonation and it's appropriate, but this has a soft, smooth character to it. It doesn't remind me of like a New England style double IPA mouthfeel, but just has a nice soft and smooth character to the mouthfeel, which is really welcoming. So right up front here with all that malt character, that sweeter malt character, it's more of a breadiness and a caramel malt character, but it's like sweet white bread. But then that mango sweetness and that pineapple sweetness I was talking about that was very nuanced and subtle on the nose is actually a little bit more prominent in the taste. It has like this nice like mango fleshiness to it, pineapple, like crushed pineapple. And then right midway through the palate, I'm hitting more of like a zesty grapefruit, a zesty orange peel. And then as it carries on through the rest of the palate, that's where the bitterness and the dryness strikes. So on the back of the palate, this is semi to full on dry. There's a really nice resinous pine bitterness to this one. There's a omnipresent dankness to this one, but it's like very underlying to the entire characteristic of the palate, for me anyway. I cannot tell you this is 8%. I say on the label it says slightly alcoholic with slightly crossed out. I mean, it's alcoholic because it's 8%, clearly, but it does not taste like it. I'm not even getting a warming in the chest or stomach. This is deceptively drinkable. I'd say like 6% if I was doing a blind. Man, this is fucking delicious. And like I said, 2.5 months old. It just speaks to the quality of Lagunitas. And sometimes, you know, we all want to drink our IPA super fresh, and that is my preference. But sometimes, you know, like if I was probably buying this in a bottle shop, I would have just not picked it up because it's 2.5 months old. Is that snobbish of me? It could be, and it probably is to a certain degree. But you know, if I'm going to spend like retail price on it or whatever, I'm not getting a mixed 6-pack or it's not convenient. I can buy other beers that are super fresher and that I know that, you know, the freshness isn't going to be impacted. But I will say this just kind of proves a point for myself anyway. I'm not sure completely if it proves a point to any of you, but this is almost a 10-week-old double IPA brewed with Citra, and it's delicious. Now, maybe a month old, this was even more impactful and boisterous and, dare I say, bombastic. Shout out to Paul over at PA Brew News. But at the same time, I'm not drinking it, you know, a month old. I'm drinking it 2.5 months old, and it's still damn tasty. So, rating on Super Cluster from Lagunitas, 4.25 out of 5. I did not think that I was going to give it a 4.25. You know, the whole preconceived notions, things I always talk about, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. Coming into it, 2.5 months old. Is it going to be super fresh? How am I going to like it? Well, I like it to the tune of 4.25 out of 5. So price point availability, I paid $1.83 for this can in a mixed 6-pack. I do know, and that's because at Wegmans, where I bought this, they actually had 6-packs of it, and it was $9.99. So $9.99 for a 6-pack of an 8% Citra-Hopped double IPA. Yeah, that's a great value. And availability, Lagunitas is all over the place. So if you see Lagunitas, you should see this beer at some point. I want to say this is like year-round. I think they introduced this maybe last year, and I think it's year-round. At the very least, it's a rotating offering, so you should be able to find it. And probably fresher than I found it. But yeah, price and availability through the roof, just like Lagunitas always is. So 4.25 out of 5, Super Cluster Lagunitas. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it, because I'm digging it, and I assume the majority of the people who try this one, at the very least, enjoy it. So yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by for another beer review here in the Beer Patrol. Another mixed 6-pack theme beer out of the way. Check back tomorrow for another installment. We're getting closer to the end. We only have a handful amount of days left, but I'm really, really liking the theme month. It's a lot of fun, and you guys seem to be digging it too. So take it easy. Have a good one. Cheers.